as a follow-up question to that, though, if I can, Peter Leahy, what about this notion, I talked about this yesterday on air, what about this notion that behind the scenes the security experts are apparently telling politicians in their briefings, please try to be cautious in what you do say publicly because it makes it harder for us to deal with the Islamic community. I think the Grand Mufti, I saw comments online on the Australian newspaper, has said words to that effect as well in relation to this debate. What's your answer to that potential issue?
Well, I think the pre-election should be about being open and honest and putting as much information out there as we can. And of course there are some things that officials can't talk about or won't talk about, but they have to make those judgments. I think one of the concerns here is that there's a presumption that the intelligence agencies have got it all right, that they know best. Well, the intelligence agencies and security officials and others are just one source of advice to the politicians. Now, it's a long time since I've had access to highly classified information, but I do remember from my time in the Army that you had to gather information from as many places as you could, so the intelligence and security officials, but the politicians have their own sources of information. They have sources, I'm sure they talk to the Grand Mufti, they talk to Islamic leaders, and some of the politicians who work in the western part of Sydney, they've got excellent sources, and there's people like Dr Jamal Rifi, who I think is doing just a wonderful job. So politicians get information from a lot of people, and I think we should allow them to make the conclusions. But as I said at the start here, Peter, I think we should be talking about these things in a really open and frank way. If we don't, it's going to build up and there'll be tension and there'll be concern. But if we talk about it openly, we're going to get to a point we'll be able to agree to it. Of course, there can be some form of compromise in all of this. There is compromise in all forms of political discourse. So let's get the facts out there, let's get the ideas out there. Some of them will be discarded, but others will be picked up and we'll come to a much better answer in the end by being open and frank.